I'm Jamie Nutt, one of the elementary digital learning specialists, and I have some colleagues in here on the screen, Lori and Amy and Suzanne and Marilyn. They're going to help monitor the chat and answer any questions. If I don't notice, they'll also be admitting people from the lobby as we get started. We're going to talk Pear Deck today, which has been a tool in the district for a few years. So we're going to talk we're not going to be super basic, but we are going to do some basic and then also talk about some of the new features that they have and some classroom implications and examples from what's happening. So you have at the top of your screen a little raise your hand icon. Just by show of icons, how many of you have used Pear Deck before and have a little bit of knowledge before? So if you can raise your hand and just give me an idea. Look at all the cute little hands pop up. So we've got 7 or 8 of us. Fantastic. You can lower your hands now, so uncheck. That way I don't have all the stimulus. Fantastic. So we have several people that have used Pear Deck before. I am going to share my screen, so there is not a formal presentation. We're really just going to spend more time kind of living in the tool and interacting with it that way. I got to take my watch off because I'm in a group chat and it's driving me crazy. We're going to just kind of live in the tool versus following a slide deck. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And can you all see my screen? You see my cute little happy house? We are going to start with some interactivity in Pear Deck. So for 2 reasons. One, I want to collect some data to be able to show you the teacher side of what the data looks like at the end. So I need you to be students so I can get some data. 2, so you can see what the students see when question types are. So it's kind of dual-sided. You'll be a student giving me, the teacher, some data, but you'll also get to experience what your kids see. So this is our first slide. If you will go to joinpd.com in another tab on your device, and then enter the join code. You can do this from your phone if you're using your computer and you're nervous about switching tabs and accidentally going to the wrong one. You could join from your phone and participate that way. Or if you can navigate your couple of tabs, that would be fantastic. I have 4 students. Excellent. Got 8 students. Also, copy this link if this is easier and put this link in the chat. Got about 10 of us. Fantastic. So the questions we're going to answer are very, very serious. They are on some very heavy, heavy content. I don't want to stress you out, but you're going to need to be prepared. So put your thinking caps on. We got about 11 of us. I'm going to go ahead and start. So your first question, based on the image, which holiday carol is being represented? I know it's very difficult for a hard question for a Monday afternoon. Please select your answer. Okay, we're going to go ahead and look and see what everybody thinks the answer is. Oh, Christmas tree. I agree. Very nice job. No one thought that was Oh Holy Night or Jingle Bells. Good job. If I wanted to get your answers in a pie, I have a couple of different ways. I could also individually see what people were answering that way. Very nice. Next question, another hard one. How are you feeling on a scale of Buddy the Elf? Drag the yellow star to the one you most identify with right now at this time of the year. Incidentally, number 5 is him eating spaghetti. That food is going into his mouth. Had to look at it twice. Let's see. Oh, we have a good smattering. Some of us are super excited. Some of us are not. That's fine. It's totally fine. Very good. We could individually see our data. All of our students, you'll notice it doesn't have the students' names when I do this. Excellent. All right. So, next question. How would you draw a clue to get people to guess the song Jingle Bells? Similar to the Oh Holy Night image that we had, how would you draw Jingle Bells for people to guess? I can't wait to see. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, those are good bells. Oh, someone chickened out. Very good. Excellent. I have to label things as well. Would have to say, that's a bell. Good, simple. Very nice. Very good job. A plus, students. Okay, last one. How many days of Christmas are shown in this image? How many days of Christmas? Let's see what we think. It shows us, most of us have said 12. Very good. The 12 days of Christmas. This view, it shows us on a scale so you can see where people are plotting their answers. Okay. Very good. Last slide. Thank you very much. So I'm going to go ahead and end that. I'm going to name it Tiny Tech Data. I'm going to save that and end that session. I'm not going to give you the takeaways. I could. I'm going to open and reflect. But again, I'm going to do that part later. So where I'm going to go now, so I'm just going to go into my Google Drive. And I'm going to, no, cancel. I go into my Drive. And I'm going to open any Google slide deck. Okay, this part should be fairly simple. This is, if you've used Pear Deck before, this is review, and I apologize, but I just want to make sure we all know how to do this. I'm going to go into any Pear Deck, and you should see a word up here at the top that says add-ons or extensions. Notice I already have it. If you're in a Google slide deck and you already have this little pair, that's great. If not, then we can go get it for you. You'll see a button that says add-ons. You also might see down here Pear Deck Google Slides add-on, but you can go search for it. When you find it, then you will have a little, and open it, it'll look like this over here. If you don't have it, you can go to get add-ons. And if you search Pear Deck, you should see a little Pear Deck option that comes up here if you don't already have Pear Deck. Okay. I'm going to assume there's no questions or chat. Not at this time. Fantastic. Okay, so that's how you get it. When you get Pear Deck, you'll notice it has this menu over here on the side. You can do this in any Pear Deck that's already created. It does not have to be a start from scratch Pear Deck. That's just where I started because I don't have one. In fact, let's do this. I'm going to go to this one that I did with y'all earlier. And here are my 5 slides. You can, from here, open Pear Deck. And then if you already have a slide deck, perhaps there's one that HMH has provided to you. Perhaps there's one that you've gotten from social studies or that's in the science curriculum. You already have a Pear Deck that's ready. You can just open the Pear Deck extension and add the interactivity. Over here on the right, you'll see the 6 to 8 different ways that students can interact with a slide. You experienced several of those. The ones we did together were the text, where you typed in the answer. You did a multiple choice. You did a numeric answer. You did a drawing, and you did a draggable. Okay? There is also a poll. When you're using Pear Deck, the difference between multiple choice and a poll is a multiple choice can be graded. So Pear Deck will do self-grading and will grade automatically. When you do multiple choice, you can select a right answer. When you do a poll, there's no right answer. It's literally just a vote. You can still see the same amount of data, but it's not going to necessarily grade and give points. The website is literally just a link to a website inside the slide deck. So if you were doing a lesson on space and you wanted them to go to NASA and look at some image from NASA's website, you could put the link to NASA's, that image right there in the Pear Deck, and they would go to it, and it would show on that little side screen where your multiple choice options were shown. It would show there. They'd still be in the Pear Deck window, but it would show there. And then audio is not necessarily a question type, but it's a feature that can be added to any slide with any of the other interactive elements where you can read the text. So you could create a recording reading the text. That can just be your voice. That can be any language. So if you had an English-speaking student or a Spanish-speaking student that needed to hear it in Spanish, but you wanted to keep all the words in English so they were seeing both, you could add the audio in Spanish. For some of your non-reading students, if you were doing this with littles, you could read the text aloud and help them in that way. So audio can be added to any slides. So there are the different question types. To add interactivity to a slide, you literally just choose the type you want. It pops a window on your screen. This one tells you what to do. You hit continue. You put in the answers. I'm just going to do ABC. Hold on, I'm going to mute some people. Okay, A, B, C. You can tell it which answer you want it to be. And then you can even assign a point value. So if I was making this something that I wanted to use as a formative assessment or make it gradable, I can assign a point value for every question that's multiple choice. When I add that to that slide, it puts it on the very bottom. This is movable. Okay, this is just the coding that goes with the slide. If for some reason you were working with something and it had images all the way down, oopsie, you can move this into the gray space on a Pear Deck and it will still show up as interactive for the kids. So like this part, this black bar doesn't need to be visible. It just needs to be associated with that slide in the build of it. So if you need more real estate, this can be moved off the slide and still make it the interactivity. The The gray space in a Pear Deck or in a Google slide is live space. So that's how you do that. If you decide you don't like it, you're like, oh, I made a multiple choice question and I don't want it to be multiple choice, you can delete it and redo it. And this time I want it to be drawing. And you just click and it tells you this is what it's going to look like for students. And you can add it. And then now when the students see it, they'll see it with that little colored menu like you guys did. Very simple. You can do that with any of the interactivity. Questions about building, adding interactivity to slides. Look at me using my wait time. No? Good, fantastic. So that's the interactivity here. If you're using this with students, not every slide has to be interactive. You could have a slide with a teach piece or an anchor chart or a vocabulary definition, and then the next slide could be interactive, and then you could have 2 or 3 more that were teach pieces and then an interactive slide. It doesn't have to be 5 slides in a row of interactivity like I modeled with you. It can be more of a, I'm leading you through the lesson, and every now and then we're going to have a quick check to make sure you've understood the previous 4 slides. So it doesn't have to all be interactive. You can also still put videos inside. What is this called? Google Slide Deck. So if you wanted to insert a video and you had a YouTube video that you wanted to enter, sure, anatomy and physiology is perfectly appropriate for elementary age students. You could put, shush, shush. I thought that was one of y'all talking and you said, can you just take a second? And I was waiting for the question, but it was my video. You can put the video in here and then ask a Pear Deck question, like watch the video and then do this. So that's some options for designing content. Okay, I gotta look over here to my notes. Ma'am, question. Yes, so the question was, can you use Pear Deck with Canva? So you can't open Canva and be interactive inside Canva, but you can take a Canva slide, Canva presentation and put it in Pear Deck. Look, exactly what I did. So all my pretty slides in the background there today with the rainbows, I went to Canva and I searched winter something, and I found this lovely blue illustrated welcome to winter presentation. It had words and all sorts of things on it. I deleted the slides I didn't want. I then downloaded them as an image. And then when I went here to my new slides, you can go away. You can right click and change the background. Choose an image. Here's all my pretty Canva backgrounds. I can pick one. I don't think I use this one. And then now I could type my text box on top of that. I have such performance anxiety when I try to type and people are watching me. I can add this. I can open my interactivity. I can add interactivity, and then it'll all be on top of this pretty slide. Marilyn, does that address the question, you think? Okay. Yes, so that's all fantastic. Okay. How to have at Google. Okay, so a couple of things. Now that you have your Pear Deck built and it's ready to go, how do we get students to do the Pear Deck? So those are our next steps. In the Pear Deck menu on the right, you'll see this Start Lesson button. Before you start the lesson, the 3 dots on the right are kind of important. The 3 dots on the right, there's a toggle that says Require Student Logins. You're going to want to make sure that that is toggled on so that when you go back and look at your session data, you know whose answers are whose. Okay? If you are on a 2nd through 5th grade, because they're logged in on Chrome on their Chromebooks, this will automatically populate. If you are on iPads, it is completely acceptable and possible for students to do Pear Deck on an iPad. You will want to make sure that they're signed into Google first. Your DLS can help you sign them into Google. Theoretically, that saves, if you sign them into their Google Drive, that saves on an iPad until you have to reset the iPad. And so if you do it at the beginning of the year and then don't have any issues where you have to reset the iPad, they should still be logged in. If not, it's their email address and their password, and then you can have them do Google things. Once you do all that, then you can start the lesson. There are some notes and things here that you can talk about. Practice mode allows students, so you can select practice mode or graded mode. You can also select student paced or instructor paced. Instructor paced is what I did with you guys, where every single person sees the exact same slide at the exact same time. Instructor paced is just, student paced is exactly that. The students pace themselves through the activity. It's a great thing to do while you're trying to do guided reading groups. You could paste this in Seesaw, the link. You could paste the link in Google Classroom. You could upload it into Canvas, and students can all do the same interactivity, but on their own without you having to have it on your panel. You choose your mode. I'm going to do student paced to show you what that looks like. When you do student paced, they can either, you can give it the link, so copy the join link and paste that in your LMS, or you can share to Google Classroom right there. It'll let you integrate the 2 things so that you don't have to do anything there. It gives you a menu. I'm just going to click copy link. And then this just lives here. You don't need it right now. You can close that and, not stop sharing. You can close this and if you're going to be out because you have a sub on Thursday and you want to paste this, you could paste it now and start the session. And it would live there as long as you needed to live there until you ended the session. Etc. You have some teacher dashboard options that you can go into there. This one I'm going to go ahead and end because we're not going at 2. You can, yes, I'm sure I want to end it, or I can leave, but let students keep working because that's what I want to do this time. Let's see, does it open back up into my menu? No. Okay, so that's all current things. Now we're going to talk new things. The new things here, the poll is new, the audio is new, and the number of choices in Draggable is new. It used to be that you only had 5 choices in a Draggable. Now you have 10. I want to show you what that looks like. This is what it looks like for students. And so when you are doing a Draggable, you can have up to 10 options. So here I'm going to choose, I want the star. See my star that pops up here in the top right corner? This is the student slide. This is what it looks like for students. And so as I change the size of that Draggable, I can see what it actually looks like. You cannot change where the stars show up or where the Draggable icon is. They're always going to be in the top right. But you can have multiple things that you put there. So this could be sequencing, this could be numbers 1, 2, and 3, this could be follow directions, put these things in order, but see how they're all showing up right here? If I change the size of those, that's some real estate. So you kind of got to think about that when you're putting an image on something, like if you're trying to drag a picture on top of an image or different vocabulary word, like if you wanted them to, in younger grades, maybe you had the word red and you wanted to put the red circle with the word red, you would want your words in this side of the page, not over here. But you can add up to 10 draggables here, and this is where you change the size. That's new. It used to only be 5. Okay, now for the really good stuff. Up here at the top, Pear Deck has created some generative AI stuff. Okay, there are certified ELA lessons and certified math. Now here's my little asterisk disclaimer. I don't know who they're certified by. Somebody special that has educational power. It is not our curriculum people. So they're not certified by Kim Holcomb and Shashan and Brianna and all those folks. They're certified as great, valid, good lessons. Someone has peer reviewed them. I'm going to click on the certified ELA. This puts me in the content orchard and peardeck.com online. They're fantastic. There's all sorts of things here. You can search by nonfiction text features. Let's see what we find. Here's a whole bunch of lessons that talk about using text features in graphics for 2nd grade. Pear Deck informational text. Pear Deck information. I'm just going to open the first one we see. It's going to give you the sample lesson. It's going to let you look through the lesson and preview it. If you go, oh yeah, this is mostly good. Like this would save me time starting from scratch. If it's 75% good, I would go through here and I would be like, great, it's talking about navigating icons. It's got some multiple choice. Then you can copy it to your drive, which is going to detach it from the orchard and it's going to make it yours completely. So when I put it in my drive, now it just becomes another slide deck in my drive. The first thing I might want to do is rename it. But remember how we said it was mostly good? Well, let's say on this slide, I didn't like this objective because it's not something we're doing. Delete. Delete. And now I could add my language objective, or I could add another objective that was more specific to CFB. I could change the language of this, the vocabulary in this, not like Spanish to English, because maybe we don't use this vocabulary term, we use a different vocabulary term. Maybe I don't say text features, I call them something else. I don't know. But it becomes completely editable once it's in your Google Drive, and you can delete slides, you can add different images, you can edit text, etc. That sounds like a no-brainer, easy, time-saving thing to me. If I go back here to my orchard, Marilyn and friends, interrupt me if there's questions. I see the one about Spanish. We're going to get to that in a minute. Same thing from here. So if I'm in my content orchard, I can go to my Launchpad, which is basically just where you sign in. See how this says peardeck.com? If you go to peardeck.com, this is where it takes you, and you can sign in because you have a district license. You can go here to the certified math lessons. My friend Terry Washington at Sheffield just about murdered me last week when she found one of these and had been looking forever, and she was so excited in a good way, like hugged me to death, not like she was excited. Yeah, you can come in here and spell the word correctly and find lessons. Yes, she did. See, she's even admitting, oh, I still didn't spell the word correctly. But like introduction to geometry, rotations, translations, these are ready-made lessons that you can look at, preview them. That says grade 9. Okay, so we're not going to use that one. But You can filter and search over here. So I could say 5th grade math, apply filter, bam. This is what Pear Deck thinks are 5th grade math. Now, they're not specific to the TEKS. They're probably Common Core, but always know that maybe starting with something is better than starting with nothing. And so it's easier to adapt than start from scratch a lot of times. The content orchard, if you scroll down here, these are all things that it has in Pear Deck ready to go. Quick checks for math, quick checks for ELA, assessment, practice, and star ready. Yeah, that's us. That's Texas. No one else does that. Some generic classroom templates, Pear Decks for littles. These collections from partners and publishers, I have not explored completely, but they're not awful. It would take way too long to fully vet all of these. Just know that they're there if you need them. Other things. By subject, you can come up here. Social studies, computer technology. Someone asked about Spanish. I have not seen specifically like a Spanish subject as a like section folder that they have, but I have not really searched very hard for Spanish, and being that I'm not a Spanish speaker, I see these things, but I don't know if that's good or bad. So, Jacqueline, I would encourage you to explore and see if the things that are in there that come up when you search are worthwhile and meaningful. So I'm going to go back to the Launchpad. The other thing that I want to spend a little bit of time on is this new favorite button right here. This little blue create button. You're going to create a custom lesson. And it's, oh wait, I maybe clicked the wrong one. I explored this. Nope, just kidding. Bleh, click the wrong one. Go away. You're going to create an instant Pear Deck. Instant Pear Deck. This is where AI will do the magic for you. This is where you can insert your standards. You can do a generic topic, like we could say nonfiction text features, we could say seasons and weather, we could say organisms and environment, whatever. You could copy and paste the standard directly. You could also put an article or a website in there, or you could upload a file and say, make a Pear Deck based on this file. Yeah. So we're going to say rotation and revolution. Rotation, revolution. That's all we're going to say. We're going to say 3rd grade. We're going to call this science. Do I want a full lesson with 3 learning objectives? Do I want targeted instruction with 1 learning, or do I want an exit ticket? We're going to do the full lesson just to show you what it does. I'm going to click create. Then I'm going to watch the little magic hat. And it's going to do things that are fantastic and wonderful, we're assuming. I didn't specify space, so I'm wondering if when it hears the word rotation, it thinks math, but we're going to see what happens. Almost done. The little bunny's almost out of his hat. Automagically, we are creating a lesson. Yay! So now we're going to view the lesson. And this again, gives me the Earth's movements, exploring Earth's spin and path around the sun. Movement affects us. Think about a time when you played outside. How did you know the time of day? Help you have fun. Could you see the sun or moon? You get to write your response. Some good vocabulary. Not sure I would include photosynthesis in a space lesson. It's not bad. It just is not where we have it in our timeline, in our scope and sequence. I mean, not awful, right? And once again, once I copy it to my drive, it becomes completely editable and I can use it and make those changes that I want to use. Okay, let's see. I've talked new data, I've talked certified math and ELA, I've talked the create your own. The very last thing is when I am in peardoc.com, over here on the left is where you see, so I did the create a lesson, we explored the content orchard. The district library, this is not as robust as we would like it to be. But you also have Flashcard Factory. You have access to that. Flashcard Factory is a game that you can play with students. It's literally vocabulary and definitions, and it gives students the ability to define a term. I know that this is not completely accurate. I know we would say more than a four-sided figure because that could be any quadrilateral. I understand that. I'm just typing fast. You can use the little ask the definition over here, lady. So when you type in the term, you don't have to type it in. Well, that's because I didn't spell it right. You can ask it to bring you the definition. Some of them are really adult. Like these are not necessarily ones that I would choose for little kids. I might choose this one and stop somewhere there. A line segment that is curved so that it end meets at the beginning. I know that that's not, again, accurate. Okay, and so I would do this, and then you play the game. You're going to want to do this with this whole class. So this is going to look funny, but it's because it's not completely accurate. You have two teams, a day team. Put this on your projector. Yes, I see it. Great. Have kids join. Then you're going to have day groups and night groups. Basically, they're working to build vocabulary cards. Some of them work in the day shift and some of them work in the night shift. Anyone who joins gets automatically grouped into a team, so you can shuffle the teams if you don't think that the way they came up worked well. They're all going to be on their own individual device working together as a team. So it's going to do it randomly. If you feel like you need to adjust your groups, you can. I don't know how well this is going to work. So what happens is they see the vocabulary and the kids would see on their screen, it would ask them to draw it, and then it would ask it to write a definition for it. And then it's going to drop a little factory card out of here, and then you get to quality control and look at and grade. Has anyone played Flashcard Factory? Raise your hand on your little screen. Yeah, Angela. I'm going to unmute you. No, wait, I did wrong thing. Can you tell us how that went?
Yeah, so I tried it in tutoring and it was really cool. Basically, one of them, I can't remember which one it was, but it was either the day shift or the night shift, had to draw a picture for the word. And then the other one wrote an example or definition. And then at the end, you looked at all of the cards together to see which ones you wanted to keep and which ones you wanted to toss. And then it said it would make, I can't remember what it was, but it's blocked now from our
It makes a GIMP kit.
resources.
Yeah,
That's it.
You can
It makes a
export
GIMP
it to
kit.
GIMKit. We can't use GIMKit because they store data in Russia and that's bad. And so you can't do that part, but you can do all the other part.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun and they got really creative with their images.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for that. I also want Stephanie Cuevas. Can you unmute?
Yeah,
Talk
can you
about
hear
how
me okay?
Yep, talk about how you're
I
using Pear Deck.
I teach second grade at Sheffield, and I started with Pear Deck, taking the HMH foundational slides. And there's an option when you're in HMH. If you go over to the right, it allows you to copy to your drive. And then there is an option once it's in your drive to save as Google Slides. And I think I saw another second grade teacher on, but I am sending you what we did today. What I do for every week is I do 4 Pear Deck lessons. So I do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we have our spelling assessment on Friday. But the kids have been very engaged. Just a couple of things like whenever you're doing this with kids, it really helps having a question to get them either drawing or typing answers, just something. I've noticed like it's better to not start the instruction on the first slide because you're still waiting for everyone to join. So on Thursdays, my students know that they have like a free write or a free draw. Today was a question about what we were reading later. But that's one thing that I have found extremely helpful. Another thing that I have found helpful with Pear Deck is giving students a warning that I'm going to change the slide when you're in the instructor pace. I just do a 3, 2, 1, and then the students clap 2 times. I have them clap 2 times so their hands are off of their computer. But they know that that 3, 2, 1 is coming, and you're not getting all of the moans and groans when you change the slide and they're in the middle of writing something or answering something. Um, but another thing that I will advise you on is don't be afraid to delete some of the HMH slides. Don't try to do 116 slides. um like every day my foundational slides are running like 20 to 25, and Pear Deck the interaction with Pear Deck is not on every slide. So I really try to change it up so the kids have a variety of like what they're inputting is it changes up. It keeps their interest that way.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Stephanie. I appreciate that. As we wrap up, I wanted to show you where you go back to get your session data. So if you did a session and it was student paced while you had a sub or because you were doing reading groups or whatever, but you wanted to see and hold those kids accountable, you come to peardeck.com, and over here on the left is session history. It will give you the sessions. Like this one is live. This is the vocabulary thing I'm working on. This is the student-paced one. This is the one we did earlier. And when I open it, I can open the dashboard and I can look at the kids' work. Let's see, who do I know? Suzanne, I know Suzanne. Nope, don't want to email her. I want to show me the thing. There. Switch to graded mode, and it shows me all of her answer choices. This is everybody. So here's what everybody said. Notice it has their names here. So if I wanted to come back and talk about this later, I could hide, maybe Marilyn wrote something or drew something inappropriate. Actually, let's go here to the drawing one. So like that one is an exceptional response. I'm going to star it. I could add feedback. This kid drew something inappropriate because they always do. I can hide that response. And then when I go to show the student responses, you'll see that this kid's is no longer there. So like this one is hidden, this one is starred, etc. Okay. Okay, it is 3:59. We're ending at 4 o'clock. I'm going to stop sharing. If you have a question, you can unmute your mic and ask or type it in the chat. You are going to get an email from me tomorrow that has a link to the session recording, so that you can go back through and watch and get information. If you've been in this session, you'll also be receiving Eduphoria credit for the time that you were here. If you have questions, if you need support trying this in your classroom the first time, the DLS team is happy to attend and help you. Stephanie and I did a few together before she took over and started flying on her own in class, but we are finished. If you have questions, hang around.